create to comfort the discomforted and discomfort the comforted. So I think creativity runs in the very essence of what MICA stands for.
Did you interview to other colleges as well, and why did you choose MICA?
MICA as a place was the hub of marketing.
Industry demands speed right now. This course is sort of a boot camp.
It talked to me about a world beyond business, a world that helps me understand people and culture.
You will be working on a print ad and you will be working on a digital video at the same time.
So how is the placement team for this course?
So at MICA, we have a dedicated placement team.
They'll be the one will make sure that the entire batch is placed. So whoever you are, MICA has a space for you.
So hi Aditi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us at MICA. So starting with, can you briefly tell us about your background, your year of specialization and your year of study, like what led to MICA?
That's a great way to start. So I basically come from a design background. I have done my bachelor's from a college called NIFT, and post that I was actually working for a year as a designer. It so happened that my life took me on a sales trajectory, and that gave me the confidence that I needed to pursue a master's in business. I looked at a lot of different colleges, but I think the place that spoke to me most was this college, and so here I am today. I have chosen PGDM-C as my specialization, and that is what I'm pursuing now.
That's great. That's great. So what led to MICA? Like what exams did you prepare for, and did you interview to other colleges as well? And why did you choose MICA?
So I think I appeared for 3 exams in total. I appeared for CAT, I appeared for ZAT, and I appeared for MyCAT. I appeared for both the rounds of MyCAT because I really wanted to get into MICA. So I appeared for both of them. I think I scored pretty well in both CAT and ZAT. I had a bunch of different offers from, I think, 3 or 4 colleges. But again, it was always about the fact that MICA as a place was the hub of marketing. It always spoke to me about creativity. It talked to me about a world beyond business, a world that helps me understand people and culture. And I think that is what drove me to finally be here in my second year. And having lived a very grateful to MICA for giving me the life that I have today.
So talking about the creativity, like how has MICA indulged that creativity in you, and how has it helped you think something like outside the box?
So one of the first lectures that we had on day 2 of our orientation was a class called Blah to Brilliant. Now, when you look at a title like that, Blah to Brilliant, you're automatically like, what am I going to learn in this subject? What does this subject even mean?
Yeah.
And that was literally just a class on how to design beautiful and meaningful PPTs. So when you talk about creativity, creativity does not need to be like this larger than life concept. Creativity is in the daily things that we do, the nuances that we build around us. So there is this one very beautiful graffiti at Ashoka, which is one of the hostels, that says, "Create to comfort the discomforted and discomfort the comforted."
Oh.
So I think creativity runs in the very essence of what MICA stands for.
Right.
And in every small interaction, every little class, you will see that.
Yeah. Like we have been talking to people, we few students, and we can see that how creativity is like each student comes up with something very different, like creative mindset. So that is really great insight from your end as well. So, as you mentioned, you are like from PGDM-C and PGDM. So can you just differentiate, like explain us what is the difference between like both of the programs?
So both the programs prepare you for the business world. The first year of your education is pretty much the same. The difference starts mostly in the second year and in a couple of subjects in the first year. The key difference, the way I'd put it, is that PGDM-C is going to be more brand focused, it's going to be more culture focused, and PGDM, as as a today's new age MBA is more focused on data, analytics, technology, and AI. So it has a lot more of kind of like consulting roles. It has a lot more of analytics roles, and it has our PGDMC courses talk more about brand, talk about communication. They help us really understand culture and cultural insights. So I think that's the key difference between the two courses. Whichever you do take, you end up getting the entire MICA experience.
So in real life, like in the real world, when you step outside, like do you think both the courses help you together?
When I step into the real world, I know for a fact that both of these courses are designed for today's environment, today's business world. When I stepped out into the real world myself, which was during my internship, I did for a fact see that everything that I had learned about research, about culture, about how to do qualitative insight mining, all of that was very, very relevant to my internship also. And if I can see the implication of MICA's curriculum in just those 2 months, then I'm very excited to know what my future holds in the industry.
That's nice. That's nice. So now you just mentioned about internship, which I assume is you're talking about summer internship,
Correct.
right? So can you tell us about your summer internship or the summer internship process at MICA? How did it start for you and how did it end for you?
So at MICA, we have a dedicated placement team to look after all our placement processes and to ensure that every child gets an opportunity that best suits their needs and where they see themselves in the industry. I always wanted to do FMCG, and I got into a company called Hyphen Foods. Hyphen Foods is a frozen foods brand, and over there for 2 months, I worked on two key projects. One was qualitative research to understand snacking behavior in India and consumption patterns of snacks in India. And the other one was something called a BTL campaign, so below the line campaign, to ensure trials and conversion of the different frozen food products that the company had in offering, and how to schedule that throughout the year, how to budget for that. And again, while the budgeting aspect came up, subjects like FRA, which is finance, and all of these numbers driven subjects really helped me. So yeah, when you ask me if we are industry ready, I think we are.
So Aditi, you have just mentioned about summer internships at MICA. So can you tell us more about the placements at MICA?
Like I mentioned, my summer internship was in Hyphen. But again, once more, I'm very grateful to MICA. Before I came to MICA, and I had 4 or 5 other options like we just talked about, I did go through a lot of placement reports. And some of the key things that I can talk about with regards to our placements is that our average CTC is actually 19, which is a very, very good starting point for any fresher, especially considering that we only operate in the marketing domain. So our CTC is not being pulled up by other specializations like finance or other such big number games, and it is purely driven by marketing roles. And that is a very important point for anybody who's looking to pursue a career in marketing, that we are not talking about our numbers cumulatively. We're talking about numbers exclusively in terms of marketing. Our highest CTC was actually 40.91. And imagine being a 25-year-old starting at 40.91 lakhs per annum. And so those are some key numbers. Before I came to MICA, I was also, like I said, always interested in FMCG. And we had a lot of legacy recruiters in MICA. We have companies like ITC, we have HUL, we have L'Oreal. You name a big FMCG company and they hire from here. So I think that kind of an exposure to an ecosystem of companies, and even if you are not placed there, your friends are placed there, eventually you have access to those networks.
Right.
That's very, very critical for any management graduate. Having said that, some of the other key recruiters, we have companies like Google coming in, we have companies like Accenture coming in. So once more, there is not a place where you would want to go where a MICAN does not exist.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Like the names of the companies that you're taking are really big and
They're dream companies.
They're dream
They're
companies
dream
for
companies. Yes.
most of the students.
Most of the students.
So as you mentioned that there are many companies that are coming in. So what roles do they look for? Like what candidates do they look for and how is it? What is the process for that?
So that's a very, very important question to ask for anybody who's looking to pursue management degree. And I think we have the traditional roles like brand management, digital strategist, strategy and consulting. We have roles in customer success manager. We have roles like sales. We have B2B sales, B2C sales. So across the spectrum, we have roles for everybody and anybody. And these roles are not limited to any one industry. That is the beauty of these of MICA, that you are not stuck in any industry after you move out of MICA into the world. So we have BFSI, we have fintech, we have manufacturing, we have FMCG, like I already mentioned. We have FMCD, so companies like Titan come in for FMCD roles, and we have digital first companies like Google coming in. So there is not an industry where you would not find a Mican in. And I think that kind of network also gives you access to, after a couple of years, when you want to explore more, you can move within the domains. And that is very, very critical.
So, talking about AI, so as you mentioned earlier as well, that AI roles do also come on the campus. So, how is MICA helping you like to keep up with AI?
So our curriculum recently overhauled, and now every single subject that we study has a 10% AI component. So everything that we study is actually taught in an AI first world. So we have, so one of the subjects that we have was, it was literally named BASAI, which is Business and Strategy in the World of AI. And we have a lot of these kind of subjects which are AI focused and AI driven. And I think one of the incidences that I'd like to share with you, in my first strategic communication class, our faculty came and said, so now we have ChatGPT. What's the need for communication? Why do you need to learn to write communication?
That is the main purpose of my question.
Yes.
You get
So
everything on.
you get everything there, but does it actually work? And she gave us an assignment. And she was like, feel free to use AI. Go ahead, do your best. We were all very happy. Free 10 marks. Who does not want free 10 marks? We all GPT'd an answer and we submitted. Most of us scored like 1 or 2 marks.
Okay.
But she gave us an opportunity to rewrite it. And this time around, she was sitting with us. She sat with every single one of us and told us why our answer was wrong. So despite the fact that we were all simply GPTing, she was sitting and reading those answers. And she broke down that problem statement in a way that an AI could never do. Because AI is a predictive model. And that is what we learn, how to use the predictive model to the best of our advantage. But the strategy, the human thinking part is still our own.
Right.
And I think that distinction, being taught that distinction that yes, AI is important, yes, AI is relevant, but to amalgamate that with human intelligence, that's what we are learning here best.
That's nice. That's nice. So now let's get into the fun part of the campus.
Yes.
So can you briefly tell us like how is campus? Like when you entered the campus, like did it meet your expectations, or how was your first, look at the campus? Like how was it?
So when I came to the MICA campus, I was like, where have I come? Because you expect an educational institute, you expect a certain level of strictness, I would say. And then I walked in and I saw that yes, there are rules and regulations, but they seamlessly blend with the student life. If you take a walk around our campus, you will see like 1,000 graffitis. And every student that has ever been on this campus has left behind their mark on this campus. And that is very, very evident in the way a MICAN experience unfolds in the 2 years that you are on this campus. One of the, I think, most fun things for me was my canvas. So we had a huge artist come on campus. We had Amit Trivedi on campus. And my God, was that a fun night. And that's one of the nights to remember.
Wow.
When I move out of the campus and into my real world, I think I'd look back to a lot of fun memories from MICA. And a lot of mind-blowing revelations also. So yes, student life, but also how that student life propagates to your daily life. So these subjects like culture, we have the subject called cultural communication. it doesn't just teach you culture, it changes the way you look at life as a whole. You stop looking at things in isolation. You start looking at the larger picture of what created the world that I live in. It stays with you for the rest of your life.
Right, right. So, talking about the memories part, so what is that one memory that Micah has given you for life, and you will be like, once you pass out from the college, you will be like very much stuck with that memory? And what is that good memory that you would like to talk about?
So I would say that before I came to Micah, right, I had never given a professional interview. I had never prepped for any of that. And there were many, many nights where I sat and studied and prepared for those interviews. But the kind of confidence that I gained during that placement preparation week, and how I learned for myself is going to stay with me. The communication aspect of it is going to stay with me. That is a very, very core memory that I have from Micah, and a lot of serious talk. But one of the more fun memories that I had at Micah was that right after the Amit Trivedi concert, we all went and we had food at Manichok. And yeah, that was a cultural experience for all of us.
That's nice. That's nice.
Manichok is a night bazaar at Ahmedabad that serves delicious food.
So, talking about the clubs and committees, so what committee are you part of, or you wish to be part of?
I think one of the most important committees at Micah is Micah Minds. And that is a committee I wish I could have joined personally, but it's very competitive. And I'm not a part of that committee, unfortunately, but I'd like to take a minute to talk about them. So Micah Minds as a committee is also part of the industry readiness that we have at Micah. They bring in life projects for us, and they are student-driven life projects. So you have complete autonomy of dealing with the company, communicating with the company, setting your own KPIs with the company, and essentially solving for real-world problems. And that is facilitated by Micah Minds, which I think is an initiative that's very, very unique to Micah. I don't think that any other college has that kind of a commitment towards industry readiness, and to have a committee for that, and a committee that is very, very active, constantly evolving, and constantly bringing in the best companies to work with, even for a matter of 1 month, 2 months, while you are also studying. So you get to apply everything that you're studying. And yeah, that's one of the most important committees. And the event that I was talking about, which is My Canvas, that's also a committee. And that's the fun committee of Micah. We get a lot of, we had a comedian come up, I think his name was Kullu. We had Amit Trivedi. We have these workshops that are a part of My Canvas. We have some amazing case competitions that are rolled out for the larger audience as a part of My Canvas. So, if you're a part of any of the case comps, you get to come to Micah, experience life at Micah, live here for the 2 days, be a part of the events. And yeah, so that's one of the more fun committees at Micah.
Nice. So, before this interview started, you had mentioned something about student diversity.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Would you like to take us through what made you say that?
So, when you are 16, 17, 18, starting into a college, everybody around you is studying the same thing. Everybody around you has had similar life experiences. Everybody just gave boards and then came and joined a college and now is studying the same courses as you are. They have the same POV towards life as you have. But when I came to Micah, on the very first day, the guy sitting next to me was a doctor. A full-fledged MBBS. And I met a lawyer, I have met a journalist, I myself am a designer. And the variety of perspectives that comes to Micah, we have IITians, we have engineers, we have lawyers. And then you are working on group assignments with these people. So every assignment you are like, yeah, this is the right way of doing this assignment. And then somebody will say, but you didn't think about this perspective. And that diversity allows you to open up new perspectives. And one of the great things about Micah, in my batch, we had a 1:1 ratio of women to men, almost nearly 1:1 ratio. And to be in a college that empowers you in a way where, you see representation, And not just representation in your classroom with your cohort, you also see representation at the leadership level. So our faculties, our dean, our CEO, women.
Yeah, I
And
just saw that.
yeah, so to have a campus where you feel comfortable, safe, at home, and you see like-minded women, and everybody's here to grow. I think that kind of a support structure around you really enables you to reach your potential.
Motivating.
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
very, very motivating. It's very motivating.
So, after all these insights that you have shared with us, what is that one suggestion that you would like to give for the aspiring candidates who want to get into MICA?
I would say first and foremost, there is no MICAN. You become a MICAN after you have come to the campus, you have lived through this life, and that is what makes you a MICAN. There is no set template for who is a MICAN. So if MICA speaks to you as a college, if you want to pursue a journey in marketing, do apply. That's the first and foremost thing I'd say. Don't think of yourself as somebody who can be a MICAN, who cannot be a MICAN. Like I just shared with you, there's so much diversity. We have IITians, engineers, doctors, we have a dentist on campus. So you just have to be yourself, and you have to have the courage to apply for it. You have to have the courage to go through the process to come to MICA, and then to live your 2 years here, experience marketing like never before, and then you'll become a MICAN. The other piece of advice that I would have is that beyond your CAT and ZAT preparation, there is also a unique section in MICA, which is the descriptive section. So I would suggest that every student should prepare for that section. That section is very, very different from any other exam in this nation. And a little bit of pre-prep for that section will really help ensure that on the day of the exam, you're not unprepared, and you have your best chance of coming to MICA. And like I personally said, I appeared for both MyCat 1 and MyCat 2 to maximize my chances of being here. If you think your MyCat 1 did not go well, or if you want to appear for both the exams, I would highly recommend doing that. Maximize your luck surface.
So, Aditi, those were really, insightful answers that you have given, and it was really fun talking to you.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you
Likewise.
so much for your thank you. So thank you so much for your time, and it will benefit most of the students or the most of the aspiring candidates out there. Thank you.
I hope best of luck to all of you.
Hi, Seshu. So let's start and let's walk this through your life at MICA. So starting with, can you just give a brief background about yourself, like your year of study, specialization, your program, and your background before joining MICA?
Right. So I used to work with an advertising agency in Bangalore. I was into strategy and client servicing. Did that for 3 years, but then I figured out there is something very creative inside me, and then I was not doing justice to that part of me. So I needed to do something to take a step towards that direction, and that's how I stumbled upon MICA. And MICA was my first baby step towards being creative. This is the place that gave me confidence to take a pen and paper and write. This is the place which opened my entire universe towards advertisements. So yeah, so that's what has been happening for the past 5-6 months.
That's nice. What program are you part of?
So I am part of this program called CCC that goes like crafting creative communications,
Okay.
and we are taught the fundamentals of copywriting, art, branding, strategy, and we are constantly working on different briefs for different brands and different types of ads, like a print ad, like a long copy ad, or it might be a TVC, or it might be a whole integrated digital campaign. So it's fun and it's intense at the same time. There will be a lot of nights where you won't be sleeping, but you will be around your friends, collaborating with them, ideating on any specific topics, or somebody who's into design and art will be helping you out with your layouts, or you will be helping somebody out with their headline or their writing or their copies. So it's a whole sort of a healthy collaborative environment where the students come together, ideate, collaborate, and they learn together.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So this course is of 1 year, you
This
mentioned?
course is a 1 year course.
So how is it different from PGDMC of MICA?
Yes. So while the PGDMC are the students are majorly focused on different specializations like finance or let's say logistics, operations, marketing, stuff like that. Our core areas of focus are copywriting and art.
Okay.
And when I also tell art, it's the art is primarily focused on advertising art. For example, if you want to see how an ad looks like on a print, or if you want to see how an ad looks like on a billboard, OOH, so that those are the core areas of focus. Now, if I want to put it into simple words, in the industry we are known to be fundamentally strong with the basics of advertising,
Okay.
while somebody with a PGDMC course will be strong with their organizational skill, management skills. But the course CCC is known to put out people who are very fundamentally strong with the basics of advertising.
So you're trying to say that creativity is the core of your course.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So before getting into MICA CCC program, so
Mhm.
what are the exams that you prepared for? Is it MICAT like PGDM students to prepare for? Or
So
what?
it's not very similar to MyCAD. You will be taken through an entire creative test where you will be asked questions which the answers might be very non-linear. You will be asked to make a story out of a topic, or you will be asked to make a song, or you will be asked to um, look at the perspective of somebody who is blind and
Okay.
talk about their life. So it's very open-ended questions, but at the same time, if you are a perfect fit for it, you will have a lot of fun answering those questions.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you come with a work experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So do you relate to some things, like is there something you felt like you need to brush upon? And do you think like I was doing it a different way before getting into this course, and this course has taught me something else, like I can use it in my future and I can, upskill myself or something like that?
Yes. This kind of made me realize that I could have done a lot of things. Not I could have done things better, but it gave me the realization that I could have done a lot of things, which I feel I am decently capable of right now. I'm coming into this course. Basically, from the very first step of decoding a brief, we are being taught what to look at, how to get creative inspiration, and how to go about finding the USP in a product or a service from the brief. So those are the rigorous days in the course where we are taken through a lot of briefs and we decode the brief, and then we find out a direction to go and make our creatives.
Yeah.
So again, there are a lot of things that I would do if I go back to the industry right now.
So according to you, who should be opting for this course?
If you feel that you can take a pen and paper and you can write ads, if you feel that you can design ads, or if you feel that you have some potential inside you which you are not very clear of, but you also feel that you have that creative potential inside you and you want to explore more of that side, this course is perfect fit for you.
Okay. So, getting into the interesting part that every aspirant wants to know about the placement.
Mhm.
So, how is the placement team for this course, or how are the
Mm.
placement
Yes.
facilitated?
So the placement committee is an entirely student-run committee, which will be consisting of 6 to 7 people from the batch, and all the necessary support the committee needs will be provided for. And but again, the students are the one running the committee. They'll be the one doing all the work, running around and making sure that the batch gets placed. But the placement committee will make sure that the entire batch is placed.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. So, are you done with your summer internship?
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us more about it?
So I am from the placement committee.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was a beautiful process of reaching out to different agencies. A wish list will be rolled out to the batch so that the committee has an idea of where each candidate's interest lies, and companies will be reached out to from that place. And there is a very good chance that you will be ending up in the sector that you are most interested in. And the placement committee will be making sure that wherever you go, you will be having fun.
So, what is the package like, average, median?
Yeah.
How is it?
So when it comes to the midterm internships, our average stipend starts from 20K, and it varies between 20 to 30, 30 being the highest. And when it comes to the final placements, if I talk about our last year's data, the lowest package was 8 and the highest was 13.
Okay, okay. So, do you think, like you mentioned, it's a 1 year course? So,
Yeah.
do you think like it's enough for, learning everything that this course demands and the real world demands for?
So the industry demands speed right now. Whenever since I was into the advertising industry, clients are looking for faster turnaround times. Now that being said, this course is sort of a boot camp where you are thrown into multiple briefs at the same time. You will be working on a print ad and you will be working on a digital video at the same time. So one skill that you naturally learn out of this is time management. So that is a pro.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So, talking about AI.
Yeah, yeah.
So, AI is something, like you're talking about creativity, copywriting.
Yeah.
Anyone can just Google it and they get it. So,
Yeah.
how does Mica help you, upskill yourself or make it equivalent to AI? And how can you be different from AI?
Right. So experts specifically from the advertising industry are brought in to teach us about AI. How could we leverage AI? There was a assignment where we were divided into groups and each group had to come up with an entire video ad completely made from AI.
Okay.
From the scripting of it, from the image generation of it, from making a video out of the images. So for this whole process, we used to work with 4 to 5 different AI softwares, but the output was beautiful because creativity remains at the core of it. We made sure that the story was nice. We made sure that the scripting was beautifully done without any glitches in between. So that is something which is happening. And also we are again equipped with, for example, if I would take a module which happened again, all the students are taught how to make their own versions of a ChatGPT. So, for example, if I am Seshu, there is an entire Seshu GPT which works basically exactly like me. So tomorrow, once I go into the industry, and if I log out from work 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and somebody wants to reach me out for an emergency, they can directly go talk to Seshu GPT.
Oh.
So
nice.
everything which is happening on the surface level and the deep end of AI are being touched upon from Mica.
Oh, nice. That's nice. That's a really good exposure
Yeah,
students
yeah.
here get. So getting into the fun part, talking about the clubs and committees and
Yes.
cultural diversity of the campus. So we have an idea about PGDM, but we'd like to know about the CCC program as well. Like, what are the difference between the clubs and communities of both the courses, and how is it like?
So ideally, the clubs and committees are common in the campus. So there is no difference between the clubs and committee for a CCC student and a PGDM student. It's an entirely student run again. There is a committee selection process for it where you have to stand for it and you have to present yourself, and then you will have to check if you have made it through or not. This process remains the same for every student in the campus. That being said, MICA has a space for everybody. If you are somebody who is an introvert and who is into literature, who is into writing, there is a committee for that. If you are a person who loves to party, who loves to be at the center and run the show, there is a committee for that. If you are somebody who is into sports, who you are very passionate about getting into everything regarding sports, there is a committee for that. If you are somebody who wants to just take care of pets, there is a committee for that.
Oh, nice.
So whoever you are, MICA has a space for you.
That is nice. That is great. So what would be that one advice that you would like to give to the students, the aspiring students who want to be part of MICA CCC program? What would be that one word or one line advice for them?
My one line advice will be stay stupid, stay hungry, don't stop running.
So creativity can come
Yes.
from within. Nice, nice. So thank you so much, Setu,
Thank you
for
so
giving
Thank you so much for
insight.
having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.